Kathleen?
Okay.
Here we go. Lovely job. So let me just start again then. Welcome everyone to the Universal Hair to Excel workshop. I'm so glad for you all to be here today. Obviously, people who are not available at the moment may pop on later on, or they can actually watch the replay later on. So the agenda is going to talk about how to our hair grow, the causes of hair loss and the treatments, and then my guest will talk, Dr. Kathleen will talk next, then Alfia Hamilton will talk about her products, Big Nana, and then Tendai will talk about mindset, and then the questions and answers, questions at the end, please. All right, so we're first going to talk about the how does your hair grow. So I don't know, I hope everybody can see my diagrams. Yeah, good. Thanks, Tendai. Okay, so what the most important things that you want to take away from this diagram here is your blood vessels. So your hair grows from your follicles or roots or underneath your hair, underneath your skin, and your hair is fed by your blood vessels based upon the follicles, which gives nourishment to grow your hair. And it and then later on, it goes through different stages. But the most important thing to recognize in here is if the blood vessels do not work, this affects your hair from growing. Because this is important. If you can see from the bottom of the diagram, the blue part here, this is your blood vessels, and it goes through the actual hair root to the hair follicles and up to the shaft here. And then eventually, as time goes by, this will then shed and break off. Okay, the next bit we'll talk about is here. When there is 4 phases your hair goes through, and it's called angiogenic, Kathleen, and technogenic and exogenic. And these are the 4 stages your hair goes through. Right, the first one, as you can see on the diagram, your hair growth cycle is the angiogenic stage. This is where all the nourishment bits actually starts. It's attached to the blood vessels, and this is what helps your hair to grow. This is your 80% and 90% of your hair actually stays in this phase. This can actually last between 1 year to 10 years. Obviously, that is on average it's going to be between 4 and 7 years, depending. So that determines how long your hair will actually grow to. Next stage will be catagenic, which is a settling stage, and this is where your hair detaches from the blood flows, from the blood vessels, and it then moves further up to the shaft. This process is going to actually take between 2 weeks to 3 months, depending. The next stage after that is telegenic. That's also a resting phase, and then this is and your hair tends to stay within this phase between 10 to 15% of your goes through this phase. This is where basically it completely detaches from the blood vessel, and this part of the hair then dies. The last phase here, which is energetic, which is not on this diagram, but it's the last stage where your hair completely sheds. Right. So the next bit we're going to talk about is this normal? Now, forever, this is normal means different things to different people, depending how you look after your look after your hair. For example, for me, I only wash my hair once a month, once and a half. I wash my hair. So this hair loss is coming out when you actually take my hair's plaited. My hair's natural at the moment. So when, as I only wash my hair once a month, once every a month and a half, this hair loss, that's not normal for me. I have 3 times this amount come out because I'm not combing my hair. It just stays in plaits for a long period of time. This is normal for tend to be for black people because if they wash their hair often like Caucasian people, it would dry out on natural oils. Caucasian people tend to wash their hair more often, like every week or something, depending how greasy their hair is, and therefore they will shed lot less than this. You may find that they will have they're shedding little samples in their hairbrush. But for us who tend to wash it less frequently, we will have more shedding happens to our hair because obviously we don't wash it as much. When I was perming my hair many years ago, I would have to wash my hair more often, like every 2 weeks, because obviously it had chemicals in it. Now it's natural, I don't need to do that. And it's important to know how your hair sheds, because then you'll know whether or not it's excessive or not. Without that knowledge, it's very difficult to know when your hair, if your hair is losing or not, and what to do about it. So the next stage we're talking about is causes of hair loss. The first one, which affects most of us, is the stress. Now, stress can come from normal stress, comes from for everyday life, from work, family, from whatever, anxiety, fear, and things like that. The most important thing is to reduce this stress. This stress can cause a lot of health problems, but it also causes hair loss. So some of the ways to actually reduce this stress is massaging, essential oils. These sort of things will actually help to reduce your stress levels. Next thing will be effects of using medication. Now, medication can cause hair loss. This sometimes can be temporary or permanent, depending what it is. Sometimes some steroids that we may use, that could also cause you to have permanent hair loss, depending what it is. Sorry? 1 minute. Okay. So genetics is basically what most people go through. This is basically based on your family, what's normal for them. For example, for a man, he may say, "Well, I'm losing my hair," and if you just to ask him about his father, when did he lose his hair? That may be an indication why he's losing that hair at that particular point in time. And the next one we're going to go on to is effects of certain hairstyles. Now, with Africa, with Black women, they tend to have their hair plaited. Sometimes it's too tight. This pulls along on your hair follicles and causes your hair loss. Or if you're having weave-ons, that's another thing that can cause your hair, that's too tight as well. That can bring your hair. With Caucasian women, it tends to be like the treatment of color dyes. These things are too strong for our hair, and perming. These things can cause hair loss. Poor diet, whether or not or yo-yo dieting, this is another thing that can cause hair loss. Hormones, if you're pregnant, you'll tend to find that your hair goes through the growing stages, which happens during pregnancy, and then after pregnancy, your head starts to shed a lot. Or if you're going for a menopause, that could be another reason why your hair loss. Vitamin deficiencies, this also can cause hair loss as well. If you're deficient in iron, vitamin D, and various other things. Okay, and the last one is treatment. There is lots of treatments available out there for hair loss. The creams and serums are using oils to help to stimulate the hair to help it to grow. Injections are used mainly to stimulate the blood flow coming back into your hair. They tend to be used for like cancer patients or people with alopecia, because they tend to the blood supply tends to stop. That's what's causing their hair loss. More people go for the drastic one is a hair transplant, but that's really drastic. A lot of people don't really want to go down that route because it can be quite painful. But even though they numb your scalp, the supplements and water. Water is the most important one out of all of these because our body's built with water. So it's important to keep yourself hydrated as much as possible. If you're not hydrated, this can cause your hair to get brittle and obviously lose the color in your hair, and the hair can fall out that way. Another one is the supplements, and they are very good because they can burn vitamin A, B, and C, and zinc. These are all things that can help you, and you can get these supplements in a lot of foods like eggs, liver, fish, fatty oily fishes like salmon, mackerel, spinach, nuts and peppers and all these sort of things. You can berries. They all come from. They all can help with your hair loss. Hats and scarves. Hats, well, we say hats because June in UK right now, the sun shines really hot and the sun rays can be very, very strong on the hair, and that can cause your hair to dry out, and that can cause hair loss. The scarves, they're very fashionable now, but also they provide a purpose because when you wear a scarf, satin or silk scarf, they help to keep the moisture in your hair. And it's obviously, especially I use mine at night time because most people have cotton pillowcases, which dries out our natural oils on our hair, and the scarves helps to keep the moisture in there. Universal Hair usually focuses on the hair extensions, mainly wigs, because they help your hair to have a break at times, or your hair always needs a break at some point from the tonging and the plaiting and the weaving, because obviously then these things can actually damage your hair if not done properly in the first place, but also the wig gives you an opportunity to give your hair a bit of a break. So I hope this, sorry, I've gone a bit faster because I'm conscious of the time. But yeah, I hope this has been really helpful to you. If you need any more information, there will be more information available to you at a later stage. Thank you.
Awesome, that was very informative. I'm learning some new good stuff.
So my giveaway is basically, I'm going to give away to everybody who's attended a consultation. So if they would like the consultation, just let me know at the end or send me a message. You've all got my email. I've just sent you the Zoom link. So we can book a consultation and I can help you further. This is just a summary of what the things that I will go through with you on the consultation.
Awesome.
Right. Okay, Kathleen, it's your turn, honey.
Okay, all righty. Let me share my screen.
Oh, come out, not this one.
Okay. Can everybody see my screen? Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, my dear, yes.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Awesome. Okay. Julie has already welcomed everybody. My name is Dr. Kathleen Oden, and I have a health ministry called Create a New You Health Ministry. And I am a certified health minister and a certified essential oil coach. Okay, I'm going to be talking about immunity because our immunity system, our immune system really plays a big part in our hair, our nails, our skin. All these things are affected if our immune system is not working good for us. There's two parts to the immune system. The first is level 1 of defense called innate, and the second level is called adaptive. And the adaptive one is the one that has a memory of anything that's ever attacked your body, any viruses or any type of sickness or anything coming into your body that does not belong there. The adaptive system actually has a memory, and it will remember these different viruses and illnesses, and it will help to fight and protect your body so that the next time you have that cold or that sinus infection or whatever, it will remember and your body will be able to fight it off a lot easier. There are 7 steps for a healthy immune system and lifestyle. And those are eating a whole food diet with plenty of fruits and veggies, exercising, staying hydrated, maintaining a healthy weight, getting enough sleep, reducing your stress, and not smoking. So all these things can play a big part in how your hair continues to grow or not. Why do we still need to take supplements? Well, let's talk about it. One of the things that we need to do is eat healthy to make sure that we're getting the right amount of vitamins. And one of the reasons a lot of us aren't getting the right amount of vitamins is because there is a shortage or a deficiency in our soil here on land in America and around the world even, because we do so much planting. Our land is deficient of a lot of the vitamins, and therefore the food we get is deficient from a lot of the vitamins. And you can see a list here of vitamin C, foods that have vitamin C, a lot of vitamin C, and foods that have a lot of vitamin E in them. And these are the types of things we need to keep in our system. We need to eat all the time so that we will help ourselves to have the right amount of vitamins. And we need to take a supplement. And the reason we need to take a supplement is because the soil is depleted. And therefore, a lot of the foods we are eating don't have the same amount of vitamins that food used to have many years ago. So we need a vitamin. We need to take vitamins along with it. And everybody is different. Multivitamins are okay, but we need to find out specifically what vitamins our body is deficient of and take them. And we definitely need vitamin C. That's one of the big ones. Vitamin C, vitamin D, and vitamin E are the top vitamins that all of us should be taking. I remember my mom telling me years ago that, if you're going to do maintenance, make sure you take your vitamin C. Well, eventually I became allergic to vitamin C. So for me, I only take it if like a maintenance. If I feel something coming on, I'll take the 2000, like it says here, 2000 IU, which means international units. And so far that's working for me. So, but you have to know your own body. You have to know what you need for your body. Julie mentioned zinc. It's another one that we definitely need to take. But check with your doctor on all these things because we're not all the same. All of our bodies are different. Make sure you know what your body is deficient of. And all of this helps with healthy living, exercising, going to the gym, exercising at home, whatever you can do, walking. So all of this plays a huge part in the blood vessels in our brain and helping our hair grow and other things that we need. These are some recipes. You will receive all these recipes. There's 24 recipes in this package. So you'll receive all of these. Also, I'm giving away, if you register for my 3-day detox program, you'll get my book, 3-day energizing and cleansing detox. And you will also get this immunity support package that I'm showing you right now. It has all this information in it, plus it has 24 delicious and healthy recipes. So thank you so much for being here today and joining Julie's workshop. If you want to take a screenshot of my information, you can contact me if you have questions or you'd like to know more about healthy eating and healthy living.
Thank you, Kathleen. Now it's Alfia's turn now.
Hi, everybody.
Hello, honey.
Hi. Yes, my name is Alfia, and I'm talking to you today about big nannies and so our take on hair care. My mom's been making our products for 70 years this year. 70 years she's been formulating hair products. That's what I use in my hair, and this is my natural hair. I've used it all my life, and my family and my children have used her products all our life. It's not about having long hair. It's about keeping your hair healthy in order that you have the choice. And there's lots of different ideas about how you keep your hair healthy. Some people say you should wash your hair once, twice a week. Some say once a month. Some say hardly ever. There's just lots of different schools of thoughts. I go from one extreme to the other from time to time. And I don't think there is a wrong way. I don't think it's wrong not to wash your hair, to be washing your hair, say, every 2 months, because what happens then is if you're using a good product, all that's happening is that it's helping your natural sebum to work with your hair and keep it nice and moist and nutritious, have all the nutrients still in it. If you wash it once a week, that can still be good, especially if you're using heavy butters that build up in the hair and will attract dirt. So if you're using heavy products, then it's a good idea to wash more often. If you're using really light products, then you don't need to wash so often, if that's your choice. We believe in brushing your hair. A lot of people, there's a school of thought for some trichologists that brushing your hair isn't good for the hair. But I stand here, a woman who as a child was brought up brushing my hair. And to be honest, that's how I help to grow it. It does depend on how you brush your hair, because this is a blanket straight statement, don't brush it. It's a blanket statement because a lot of people do it wrong. So it's safer just to say, don't do it. But if you know how to do it, it's safer and it is good. To brush your hair, what you first need to do is to make sure that your hair is oiled, nicely oiled, so that it's lubricated, so that any tangles can detangle easy in the combing and brushing process. Then you comb it out. You comb it out from the bottom of the hair going up to scalp. As you're combing through, you're pulling the hair straight so that it makes the next go through easier and easier as you get. That's why you find when you get to about there, all here is already combed out. Once it's combed out, it's been oiled and it's combed out, that's when you go in with the brush. Again, you start from the bottom, work your way up. And as you get to the scalp, you just brush the hair down, you're brushing and stimulating the follicles. And that's what will help stimulate them to do what they do and what they do best. The other thing I'll talk about is wearing sleep caps at night. There's lots of different kinds of sleep caps, but I will tell you that I believe there's sleep caps that are good and sleep caps that are not so good for our hair. I haven't got an example here, but we sell sleep caps, and the ones we sell are very basic. There's lots of absolutely gorgeous and Cora double-layered sleep caps. The problem with double-layered sleep caps is we wear layers of clothes to keep heat in. That's what humans do. We wear layers of clothes to keep heat in when we live in cold climates. When you have a cap on that has 2 layers on, what you're doing is you're trapping air, hot air from your head, because a lot of warm air comes from your head. You're trapping that air between the 2 layers of that cap and keeping your head overheated, particularly when you're a woman of age. That's not what you want to do. So your best bet is to wear a single layer sleep cap. Those sleep caps with the maybe nylon or those knitted edges, those aren't good if you've got edge problems. If you've got problems with the edges of your hair coming out or have none, it's not going to help it that you're wearing a material around your head front that's about 1 to 2 inches thick, that all it does is saps up all the moisture from those follicles here, which are desperate for that moisture. You spend all night, or you put oil on before you go to bed, you spend all night taking it out, and it just makes it it contradicts the whole action that you've done in the first place. So that's why I believe a single layer sleep cap at night is really good. Satin pillowcases are really good, but your head is still open to the elements at night, so your hair can dry out. So if you wear a satin cap, if you can, and one that doesn't come off, then you'll find that in the morning your hair is beautifully moisturized if you're using good products to do so. I'm going to show you our products just very quickly because I'm conscious of the time and I do want you to see what we do. This was the first product that my mom made, and it was tweaked to help grow my daughter's hair. Her hair was struggling up until 3 years old. I was trying to progress in my job, so I wasn't taking the best care of her hair or mine. But my mom took control, developed this product, and that helped with her hair growth, and it really did. Her hair grew to just above waist length. This one tends to be for hair that's not particularly thirsty, and tends to be thin or fine, and needs help with any hair issues. It contains rosemary. It's fortified with rosemary. This is the next one she did, and this one is fortified with tea tree. And if your hair's slightly drier, then this is the one that you would have. This one, if your hair is very dry, this one is fortified with moringa and frankincense. Absolutely brilliant reviews on this. It's the new range that we've brought out, along with this one, which is for extra dry hair, which both of these have no coconut oil, because what you find is people that have coarser, drier hair types that find that their hair just absorbs moisture, they tend not to get on so well with coconut oil. So these have been developed for those people. The other thing we do is we don't use plastic combs. Our family, big as it is, we all use wood combs and brushes, because my mom, her grandfather made her mother a comb, and it was made out of wood, and she found that wood comb didn't take out as much hair out of the head as plastic combs do. Plastic combs tend to build up static, and what happens is that static pulls the hair out, whereas wood combs will only take out what's coming out of your hair anyway. So, you lose 50 to 100 hairs a day. Literally, you lose 50 to 100 hairs a day. 100 hairs on a person with 4-inch hair won't look as severe as 100 hairs my length coming out. So my shedding will look, grotesque because there's so much, but it's actually 50 to 100 hairs a day. And so with using a wood brush and comb, you'll find that you lose less hair. Wood is made out of the same things we are. It's made out of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, oxygen, and that's what we are. So it's a material that is at one with us. So awesome. I think I'm going to end now, so that's where I end. But thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Althea.
Thank you.
Wow, that was awesome.
Yeah, that was good. And Tendai, it's your turn, my darling.
Well, good afternoon again, evening and morning, wherever you are in this world. And I know there's going to be people that come and see this later, because I'm going to be telling people about it, because this is so much information. I really appreciate what has already been spoken. So I'm going to just congratulate everyone for being here and stepping up and stepping out for yourself, getting the information you need so that you can make better and better decisions. So I have a question for you. How many of you have thoughts that make you feel bad about yourself? If you've ever had a thought that made you feel bad about yourself, or maybe right now, just kind of raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. And who here would like to have thoughts and habits that help you live and be happy? Raise your hand about that. And you can even put up me in the chat if you really would like to have thoughts and habits that help you live and be happy. Well, as already said, my name is Tendai Jordan, and I am an embracing life coach. And I have had experiences, so I kind of know what y'all are talking about, how y'all might be feeling And I'm going to tell you a little bit about that later. When it comes to hair, it's something that's very, very important to women and men, more than you know until something happens. Then you really know. So today we are discussing, along with the fabulous information that has been shared, your diet and what you put on your hair is mindset. And mindset is something that we probably don't think about, we just live it. There's been a lot of discussion, a lot of conversations, a lot of workshops, a lot of books written about mindset. But I don't walk around my day thinking about what's my mindset right now. But I'm here to say to you that it is important because it guides and directs your actions, your behaviors. It's something that is within you that is about your belief system and your attitudes. So mine, and I mean, it is really deep in you because it comes from like the social group that you might be a part of, the things that you value, but mainly, how do you respond to situations and things that happen? And what habits have you formed from your mindset, your thoughts? So it's something we want to start considering and having more conversations about. Your thoughts, your mindset, your beliefs guide your actions. And here's a test to know whether your thoughts that you have, as we spoke of, as I asked earlier, make you feel bad about yourself, if they're negative thoughts, or are they positive thoughts? And the test is, how does that thought, belief make you feel about yourself? If you're feeling bad behind a thought, then that thought is not true. It is a negative thought. If the thought that you have about yourself or what's going on with you is a positive thought, then that is the truth of who you are. So that's your first test to determine what you need to do about the belief, the thought, the attitude that you have. Let me give you an example of something I experienced. And some of you may have this experience or may not, but back in the day, when I grew up, we were at the hairdresser every other Saturday. The wash, the curl, the press and the curl, and then the burns, okay? I mean, you know, around your neck, around your forehead. That was a habit. That was something we did. And in your mind, that mindset is women and girls should look a certain way. They have certain habits that you do. You go to the, you know, and everybody hangs out at the hairdresser. You had heard the story from everybody. It was part of what you did. That's what you learned. And then came along the movement, the revolution, and women started wearing their hair another way. It wasn't getting pressed. It wasn't getting curled and laid down to the side. Okay. It was out here, natural. They were called naturals or they were called afros. And do you know, the first time so my mindset is changing. What can a woman look like? I did a natural. I let my hair go natural. I went outside and it was traumatic. It was traumatic. I probably lost 5 pounds that day. Wearing my hair natural and going and looking in people's eyes and watching the way people look back at you, you know, but the mindset is changing. So the idea here is we have a set of beliefs, but we have power. So we have the power to change our mindsets. We have the power to change what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And like being a beautiful, powerful woman, when you know you are that already, when you take care of yourself, here's what you do. It doesn't matter about what's happening with your hair. It doesn't matter what color it is or what shape it's in, what you put on it or in it, in terms of a wig or a hair piece, extension, let it be my mind. All of us have different hair here, and we're all beautiful and powerful. So my mind from, girls had to wear their hair pressed, laid to the side, has changed. My mindset has changed, and it works for me now because I'm more accepting and loving of women and men and myself. So you take better care of yourself when you practice self-care. You do the exercise, you eat the proper foods because you take care of yourself. You get the products that are more natural and work for you. And that's what happens when you change your mindset. So it is all about choice. It's all about choice because we have the power to change our minds and live a life, make choices that support you in being healthy, support you in being happy, support you in growing and thinking well of yourself and having behaviors and attitudes and ways of being that you can live the life that you want, be fulfilled. No stress, stress be gone, okay? Because this is how I want to feel about myself. This is how I feel about myself. And this is how I keep people around me that feel, positive, people around me that are about something. And that's your life. So mindset is very important. We need to be more conscious of the things that you do and see and how you respond to things that happen to you, and know that you have the power to change that mindset when it's not working for you. Whether it's your hair, your health, your finances, whatever it is, you have the power to, because your power is in choice. And that's what my offer is for you today. And if you are interested in having a conversation about your mindset, how to change it, if you feel like you need to improve it, know what it is. I'm going to leave my email in the chat, and please send me an email. We can get together, have a great conversation so that you can then feel better about yourself, see yourself differently, and the rest of the world will be beautiful. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Tendai.
Thanks, Tendai. That was awesome.
Great. So does anybody have any questions for anyone?
Unmute yourself if you'd like to ask a question.
I have a question.
Go ahead, Tendai.
I loved your presentation, and Julie, I love both of them. But I wanted to ask you something about when you were talking about the hair follicles. At one point, you said you were talking about how you have the different hair follicles or whatever they're doing for a certain amount of time. Like you said, one was for 10 weeks, one was for 20 weeks. What is going, when you said that, I wasn't sure. So the hair follicle is connected to the blood vessel.
Okay.
And then what happens?
So what it is there's 4 stages when you're in your hair growth. So the anagen is the basic nourishment. That's actually it's getting all the nourishment it can get from the blood vessel. That's where the growing all takes place. And as over time, the hair detaches itself from the blood vessel and then goes up further up.
Oh, okay.
That's so it goes further up, and that's all the growing phase. That's most of your hair goes through, and that takes 80% or 90% of your hair cycle. Yeah. So as it goes up up to the root, to follicles, and further up to the shaft, and then it starts detaching itself from the blood vessels, and then it goes up the hair, and eventually then it breaks off. That's how it goes.
Okay.
And then after it's done that, it will continue the cycle again and again and again throughout your life. But obviously then over a period of time, this can actually change. Because for example, for me, when I was in my 20s, my hair at the front goes really, really fast. And then for some reason it sort of stopped. And now the back of my hair has gone really, really fast. But so what people tend to do to stimulate that growth, they do massaging of their scalp to get that blood vessel keep moving again, because it's all to do with blood vessels that helps the hair to grow. So that's when people start stimulating that blood vessels to get it to grow. That's also why people actually use injections. So if people have had alopecia, where clumps of their hair actually falls out, people tend to have the injections in those areas to obviously to stimulate their growth again, to stimulate the blood vessels, the blood to start flowing again into that area. And that's what it's all about.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Because how close to the scalp is your blood vessel?
Very close.
Okay, so when you talk about the hair is growing, then is it above your scalp at that point or still below your scalp?
It's below your scalp, All your blood vessels are below your scalp. And then that's what's important, because obviously most people think that, oh, I need to take care of this bit of my hair. No, it's what's underneath.
Inside, okay.
If that is damaged underneath, this is not going to grow.
Okay, okay,
yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're
absolutely great information. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm going to do more stimulating of my hair. Changing my mindset. Thinking I don't have to do nothing. Okay. Yes, absolutely.
Julie, Cynthia Marino says that she's wondering, is it about the injections in the head for hair loss? What exactly do they inject?
I'm not too sure what they actually inject. I don't really focus most on that, because a lot of people don't want, but it's obviously some kind of steroids that actually stimulate it. They also are creams that people can actually use to stimulate growth. But sometimes they find that if you put the cream in the wrong place, the things start growing. They don't want to grow. So you have to be very careful with some of these steroid creams they have. But you need to go to a dermatologist, and they will be able to advise you further with what actually goes in the actual injection. But at the end of the day, it's there to stimulate the blood flow in your head.
When you were talking to Tendine, talking about that blood vessel in the hair, how does...
It's not in your hair, it's in your scalp.
Oh, I mean in your scalp. So people that have long hair, does that mean their hair never falls out? Because you were talking about it goes through a cycle.
Yeah, your hair always falls out, because at the end of the day, how is new hair going to come through if the old hair is still there? So basically, your hair goes through a cycle all the time, continuously, and it's always no two strands of hair act the same way. So one may go shorter, one may go longer. That's when you find in your hair, no hair of your strand, your hair is the same length. Some are short and some are long. It changes from month to month, to year. And that's how your hair tends to grow.
Okay. Awesome. I'm learning so much.
Any more questions, anyone? No? Okay. So one of the last things for me to say is Universal Hair, which is my company, we're actually launching our wig shop, shop online. This is on the 25th of July to celebrate my mum's passing after 2 years. I hadn't actually done anything before she passed, because it was a bit too painful. But I just want to celebrate her life on that day. So Universal Hair will be launching its their wig shop, and we were giving everybody 10% off the wigs. So if anybody's got any more questions, if not, we'll end the session.
Okay, that's awesome.
Okay, so everybody will be sent the actual the recording. And thank you everybody very much for actually attending, and for my guest speakers, thank you very much for doing this. It was
Thank you for inviting me to speak.
Oh, it's amazing. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Julie. I really appreciate it. It was fabulous. I learned so much.
Thanks, Althea.
Yeah.
Thanks, Cindy, for turning. And what's that else, Zara? Thanks as well. Thank you very much for coming.
Mm-hmm. And Sin and Lysandra, thank you so much for attending.
Thank you, ladies. Have a great evening.
The recording